And good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're watching from all over the world, and welcome to the RJ Ledesma podcast. Thank you so much for joining me on this lovely Tuesday evening. Pasensya na po, I just have to put on my K95 mask just for tonight, just for some safety protocols here in the house. But in the meantime, thanks so much for joining me here right now for the RJ Ledesma podcast. Now, in my podcast, I interview the country's pioneering business personalities and entrepreneurs to learn more about how they think about their business, what are their success secrets, how have they innovated their businesses, particularly during this pandemic, but more importantly, what opportunities do they see emerging in this new normal and even in the next normal? Now, is there a business personality or entrepreneur that you would like me to interview here on the podcast? I would love to have him here. Please let me know. Drop me a message. We're also live right now on Kumu, CBRC TV, Global Pinas TV, and now the Bounce Back Network. Now, many of us have heard a lot of great stories about, many businesses which have effectively pivoted during this pandemic and really done a great job at it at the same time. My next guest is no exception. They are called Ellana Mineral Cosmetics, and they managed to grow their business 3 times despite closing brick and mortar stores during this pandemic. And why their company also resonates with me is two things. Number one, they are actually a husband-wife team. And I also work with my own wife, who is my real boss, both in life and in business. And I want to find out more about their husband-wife dynamics as they work together. And also at the same time, I like really sort of like the relevance of the company, or how sort of like how it's helping the environment at the same time. Ellana Minerals is a clean, vegan, and cruelty-free skincare and makeup brand that caters to different skin types. So let's find out here right now how Ellana Cosmetics was able to navigate through the challenges of this pandemic and even grow their business a lot more. Please welcome my good friends over here on the show. We've got Theresa and Diego Buenaflor. Hi guys, kumusta?
Hi.
Guys,
Hi.
hello.
Hi. Hello.
Hello.
Really great to see you guys. I'm looking at your lovely wife, Diego. That is Ellana Mineral Cosmetics on you right now, di ba? Tama ako?
Yeah, there's Ellana on her. There's Ellana. Every piece of that.
I have to.
Yeah. Maybe except for the flesh and bone. That's Ellana.
Of
How
course.
about you, Diego? Are you wearing anything right now, Diego? How about you?
No, unfortunately, no, I'm not. But I've used it. I've used it.
Oh, but again, so
Oh
natural
no,
oils lang yan
I use
kagaya
skincare.
ko.
I use the skincare and the soaps and other hair and body care.
Yeah.
Skincare,
But
hair, and body care. Okay,
and
yeah, but
fantastic.
not
I
the
mean, the story we're going to be telling here later on of Ellana is that you know what you were able to expand the current lines of what you have here right now, and you know it's not just anymore makeup. You're going into skincare and body care, and I really want to get into that story later on for the people listening to the show. But before everything else, for those who might not be aware of Ellana, give us like what is your elevator pitch? What is Ellana? Really all about. Let me let the real boss talk muna. Theresa, what is Ellana really all about?
Well, it's all about being clean, vegan, and cruelty free, and of course, being refillable and eco friendly. So that's mostly where we base our products on. That's the tagline. It has to be all of those before we even run through it. But yeah, Elana, Elana basically has, well, what story do you want me to tell? The PR version or the non PR version?
Let's talk the non-PR version. That's what entrepreneurs want to really find out about, no. But before we get into that one, what I want to say is really the big
Okay.
news about Ellana that I've been reading about. So number one, one of the biggest news that we have that I've gotten so far are two things. So number one is um, before the pandemic or right before the pandemic, you actually got an investment from a fund, right? Is that correct? The Southeast
yeah.
Yeah.
Asian Fund.
No,
Tell me more
No,
about that.
yeah, it's called
small
SEAF stands for Small
enterprise.
Enterprise Assistance Fund.
Yeah.
They are private equity fund from the US, from Washington D.C., US.
Yeah.
Wow. How
So
did
that
they
was
find you
that
guys?
came.
They were looking for. We were the first investment. They were looking a venture into the Philippines, and we were the first investment here in the country.
And they reached out to us, and we were interviewed actually a year prior. It took us so long in order to make everything happen, make that investment happen. So much process.
Due
Due
diligence was
diligence is
crazy.
crazy.
Wow.
Wow.
So it took 1 year. I mean, I like that because many people just don't realize the type of amount of effort that goes into preparing the due diligence that goes into investing in a company. Did they invest as an angel investor or Series A or pre-Series A? What was their investment into you guys?
It was already Series A. As we had traction and we had growth, we had a business model, direct to consumer business model. We had a decent size of revenue, and we had traction to grow even much more. And so yeah, it was a Series A. It was a Series A
Wow.
investment.
Okay, so for the benefit, I hope you don't mind, Diego. You know, there are people for the first time hearing the word. Oh, what's Series A? Oh, what is angel investment? I mean, from your perspective, can you share with them if you were going to go through investment 101, what does it mean by a Series A investment?
So I'd like to more on like a pre-series or an angel investment are normally investments that you are still on a business concept or an idea, and you were looking for this case study to be able to you're getting funding to prove this case study. On a
Mm.
Series A is you already have a proven business and you have traction. Normally it's revenue, profitability not always, but it's normally of revenue traction, and it's all about you need funds for scale to grow
Wow.
what you are already doing. And so that's where we were. We had it proven, and we needed funds for it was invested in us for our brick and mortar retail expansion. This is what's interesting. I mean, you're gonna divert, and we'll tell you about the pandemic and whole. So they saw our brick and mortar retail expansion plans, and they funded it. That funding was for that.
Wow. And that's again, I know we're gonna tell a really great story from there. No? Maganda yan. That's a good great jump off point. Can I just ask how much they invested in you guys pre-pandemic? How much did they want to put
Five.
into you guys?
It's actually a decent size on a Series A. It tends to be actually in the smaller side. But it was our external investment, non-family investment.
Mhm.
It was $500 plus $1 million
In loans.
in loans. In loans.
I see. Okay. I just let you guys know. I can't see you guys too clearly on the screen right now, but there you go. It's clear again right now. Now, so they gave you $1 million worth of loans, and how much was the equity that they put in?
500
$500,000.
$500,000.
Okay. Now, you said it took a year for them to do, and I saw Teresa's face when they were saying, let's do the due diligence. It was really tough. Can you just give us an idea of just, what was the most, the challenging thing about preparing for a initial funding for you guys? I want to know, for the people out there who also are, getting their businesses invested into, what was the most, the part that really took the most effort in preparing?
It hung for a while,
Yeah.
Are
Okay.
we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we clear?
Yeah, we're back. Yeah. So I
Oh,
was
I
asking.
think the biggest part. Uh, yeah, I heard. We heard it. We caught you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. I was just fixing the things. Yeah, the biggest part was really the financials. Our financials were a mess even after even even after our in a scale business, as our financial advisor was telling us, is the way you guys have been growing your business. It's not it's a certainty that you will have that kind of back end mess. We were growing 8 to 3 times prior to that investment. So we really it was a scale game that we were after, and so we didn't do a lot of back office. If we were able to fix some back office, it would always break because we would grow and grow and grow.
I started in 2007, so it's quite a long history there.
Yeah. So we broke. We broke every time you scale something that fast. You break things immediately, even in months. That was how it was for us. It's like something will last only for a few months, for a quarter or a half a year, and
Fudge.
then we will have to break that entire department or process because it does not apply anymore.
Yeah.
And so for us, it was the financials. It was a mess, and fortunate for our investors, they saw that, you know what, it's still a mess, but we believe in you guys. We will invest already, and we will just ask you to make it as part of the requirement that you will do during the investment process.
Okay.
During the process already,
Can I just
it's part of your initiative.
now can I just ask, when you say it breaks every 3 months, every time that you grow, what particular part breaks? Is it the how you do how you do your financials, how the operations work? What breaks and what has to be fixed kagad, especially in a fast growing operation like yours?
Spirits, souls.
Okay,
A lot of them.
She speaks the truth. She speaks the
I
truth.
can feel it. I can
Fudge.
feel that. I can feel that. I can feel that over there.
Yeah,
Oh,
operations, yes. Operations breaks. You grow that fast. It tends to break. If you make it naman too soon, it tends to be a little over expensive and costly. You're oversized prior to it being. So it's really a right timing of just letting it snap and repairing it. Like that it's irreparable. And so
well, what?
as you grow, yeah, what processes apply, you won't apply when you're 10 times or
When you scale, it's not always a formula that's already set. So there's so many nuances and variations that needs to be considered when it comes to scaling. There's a lot of freaking factors and a lot of overtimes and systems breaking that needs to be upgraded consistently in order to make things happen. I mean, up to now, it's still the same. Really, I think
Yeah.
it's just part of
Very,
life
very,
already.
very interesting. Teresa, can I get more deeper into that one? Because people are like they're very curious. They're saying, okay, what have you learned from all that scaling that you had to do? What were the parts that always had to be fixed, and what did you find as the more or less the not best practices, unless there were any too. Parang, oh, we know we can identify kaagad. It's always this area, and we have to fix this up all the time. I mean, in retrospect, when we share with other entrepreneurs, when they get to your point, what always has to be guarded, and what has to be fixed kaagad?
Cash flow.
Okay.
Department. You start with every department and every aspect of the business. There's the inventory, there's the fulfillment. I mean, when you scale, you suddenly over 10,000 packages. It's crazy. And you have to scale. Sometimes it's not always that much. It goes down to how many packages lang. But yet you have to push and pull everybody to in order to maintain the things. And like from inventory, it's not always everything's gonna move like to a set number of pieces that you want to. It needs to be
Yeah,
flexible.
yeah.
So one of the things we learned from from the entirety of the business is that flexibility and loads of patience, a lot of freaking patience. Because you can't be angry at things, because sometimes it's worthless to be angry, and to just fix things with a cool head is how we kind of really want to approach everything. Like, even if you're at a breaking point, you have to stay cool and calm and collected, and just pile it in and just scream outside. It's
Yeah.
so much easier.
I'd like to add, and maybe a big part is, well, we're talking about the screaming and stuff. The first thing that breaks is yourself, where you need to make sure you grow and you adapt and you take yourself to that next stage of the business, and to keep up with its scale. So yeah, the screaming and breaking, that's you. That's you as a business leader, because it won't go further than the leader. And then the next is also your management team. Those
Mhm.
are get replaced. Honestly, they get replaced. Someone is hired above them, or if you have enough time, it's really just growing and growing, or you really pick the right person who is just an amazing bunch of them together with the business. Just like we have had to as the business leaders.
Yeah,
Wow.
flexibility is key.
A lot of great I'm actually
Yeah.
listening very intently because our own business is at that sort of point where it's coming to, and I'm looking at both of you, and you're both. It's like you're both smiling at each other, but very tensely, because I know how it's like to work with your spouse on a business. So ayan, I can see from the facial reactions alone, parang pregnant with meaning yan eh. Pregnant with meaning yan. See,
Mhm.
my wife is here. My wife is just right here by the side, listening carefully. Yeah, she wants to see what the reactions are here right now.
Bye.
And I'm gonna I'm gonna keep the discussion later on, because that's gonna be a long-winded discussion when we talk about working with your spouse. But the next thing I want to talk about is, okay, March 2020 came about. So okay, alam na natin. Okay, pre-pandemic investment $500,000 from SEAF, and then all of a sudden pandemic hits. And the numbers that you submitted were all for your brick and mortar stores. What did you do then? What did you guys do next?
Cry.
Okay,
Well, I
so see,
No, no,
common
not
denominator.
true, not
Common
true. There
denominator.
was no time to cry. There was no
there
time,
was
and
no
I
time to
still have
cry.
not had time to cry to this day.
That's true.
There's, there's no
The
time to
crying was all
cry.
on my side. I mean, and then,
Oh,
yeah,
you
that's
had
true.
luxury of crying. Good
Yeah,
for
I
you.
had time to cry.
Yeah,
Wow. I
it's
think
adapt, and but basically, it's really we didn't know what we were gonna do. Really, what was how were things were gonna go, and
it was it hit us like a speeding train, like everybody else. I think that's
Wow.
one thing common that I have to say. And uh, since that 15 March, I think remember that being 15, right? And
Yeah,
then
I remember that day so clearly in my mind and in my business.
March 15, and then 2 days before that was pronounced, we had a 48-hour plan. In order to just once it was announced, we had a 48 hours window on moving things around and setting everything. I remember not being able to sleep most of that, but yet um with the we were kind of I feel very blessed at that time because we had enough managers to that knew what to do. Actually, we were very supported, and I don't think we would have been able to move forward in any way, any direction without their help. They were very, very well equipped to and emotionally intelligent. I have to say.
I got that. I
in
got that.
order in order to move forward in that fast 48-hour pace to just move things around and to help because it was a lockdown, so we needed to move stuff immediately at that time to places outside the Metro Manila, Cebu, Davao, or branches. What's gonna happen? Scenarios. So
It's exhausting me already just thinking about it again.
there were those times,
I'm
Diego.
so tired. Can we move on from this conversation?
Not over
I'm
yet.
gonna end up falling asleep and from all the exhaustion or
Yeah.
painting, not falling asleep, painting.
But yeah, that was a bullet train hitting our faces, and it still is. It's still
Yeah,
reeling
yeah.
from that.
I mean, looking back, how many mistakes I had committed, and
Yeah, so
I wish
much.
that I'd navigated and done some
Mm-hmm.
made better decisions. But
We all
I mean,
did.
I look back like who really knew it was
Yeah.
gonna play the way it did. I mean, we have the Delta resurgence, we have all these things. Oh wow! I mean, it's
Stretches
you know,
you.
and,
Like,
and hope
oh, we're back.
I'm hoping
Oh,
things are
we're
really
not.
coming back to normal.
Oh,
But
we're back. Oh, we're not.
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
hey,
but
ano
Oh,
ba talaga?
yeah.
you know, I get you guys exactly. I mean, like in our own business, which is an outdoor food market, right? So we open up, we close down, and the thing is, the most difficult thing for us is the what I call the friction costs, right? It's the cost of when you have to reopen. There's cost to that. When you have to close down again because of a lockdown, there's also cost to closing things down again, then reopening. So your cash flow really gets exhausted. It's really run very very thin at that point. But similar to
It's
you, Diego, I know we talked. I know.
For that. I have a product for that.
Oh,
Actually, we can see.
yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
F of stress
F
anyway.
of stress. You can please send some F of stress to me and
I
Vanessa
do.
right now. I think
Sure, actually
We
we will.
do. There you go.
there you go. Thank you. F of stress will need it. Actually, guys, so me and Diego were actually speaking, and it was very nice because Diego was actually, he was looking at some of our logistical concerns at the start of midway through the pandemic. So he was very helpful to us when we were all trying to figure out what to do at that time. Because at that time, consumer sentiment, market dynamics was all up in the air. We couldn't tell what was happening. But Diego, I have a question because you did say that, um, okay, after the 48 hours, you move things around, right? You move things around. But after that one, you had to make that very difficult call to close down brick and mortar, diba? So can you take me through the journey when you had to close down and then what you identified as the new pain points that you could solve so that the business could get back on track? Because you went from brick and mortar to growing 3x, three times. So take me through the journey right now. So, okay, 48 hours stress, fix everything up after that one. Oh no, I gotta close down my, I gotta close this one down. I gotta close this one down. Tell me how that
You
was
wanna
like
get
for
it?
you guys.
Okay. You take it.
Yeah. Sorry, retail was no choice. We didn't have a choice. I did not make that decision to close down.
Yeah.
They decided for us. We just
Okay.
followed, and but the online was there. Though online was very strict on mobility and movement, we found ways. We found
So
ways. We made it
can
happen.
I ask first? The online business was already ongoing while you had brick
Oh,
and
yeah.
mortar. So you had that
Oh,
component. But
yeah. So,
what
yes.
what was what percentage of the business was online and what percentage of the business was brick and mortar retail at the time? Pre-pandemic.
30% was online.
Yeah.
30% was online. 70% was retail
Okay.
pre-pandemic.
Okay, got
Uh,
that.
We've had our online store since 2007 from when
Okay.
I started. So online has really been our core uh, base. We've always had our website ever since, and online is really where we started and where we are and where we're heading to,
Okay,
even.
okay.
So
Got that.
online is really what started everything. It was where we had our first victories and brand awareness. Retail was more of a, it's a brick and mortar world back then, pre-pandemic, and retail was more of a translation of our online success. And so
Got that.
that's
Got
where
that.
what we were rolling it out. So we had that strength. We had a very, very well talented team, well stacked, high level talented team for online. So we were doing quite well. It was just that the mobility and movement was affected. So fortunately, we have such an agile company that we have from end to end. And my wife is our chief R&D officer. And as our chief R&D officer, she went and did a super R&D binge. You share about it, how to get around the deliveries and things like that.
No, because we needed to be. It was we were restricted to essential goods,
Okay.
so we couldn't move because we're technically non-essential because we're makeup cosmetics. They're not really considered as essential. So immediately we pivoted. Like within a few weeks, we pivoted to being essential, considered as essential.
2 weeks. 2 weeks we had products moving around. Go, Teresa.
Yeah, because we needed items in order to be considered as essential, and
Okay.
that's
Okay.
how we move. We're able to move around and move our products even during that time. We had to point strap our stuff in the packages, the soaps, the hand sanitizers,
Alcohol, yeah.
alcohol.
The,
We came out with it in a matter of weeks, and we had to because well, that was the
from a makeup brand to alcohol, soaps, and hand wash. So
So
we
you.
added
Oh,
to become essential. To add to say, hey, we have alcohol in it. We're technically, yeah. It's even if it's just one item and other five are not our makeup. It's an we can get through the lines as being essential. So we had that,
I see.
and also fortunate for us, we had our own logistics of our own. So LBC, what was more painful also was LBC. All the major logistics companies shut down. Even the e-commerce websites shut down. Lazada and Shopee. Remember that time?
Yeah, I remember. I
And
remember. I remember very well. Oh,
we did not. We shut down for one day.
wow.
We operated. We were serving customers constantly. It didn't stop us. Again,
But
agility and having the whole infrastructure of e-commerce in our disposal, we were able to non-stop in our operations.
So the people were actually, we provided them housing. They were sleeping inside the office. We provided them their beds and everything. They simulated the quarantine inside the office. So that was how we were in the beginning of the pandemic. They were staffed there. They were housed
The
there.
warehouse, the
They were
warehouse.
they
Sorry,
were
the
fed
warehouse.
there. So nobody moved around except the riders.
wow.
Really.
So
But there were 2 weeks when you said that you couldn't sell because you were not yet essential, quote unquote. So what happened during those 2 weeks that you could not, technically?
no. We were still moving stuff around, but it was just that it became smoother as we had these essential
I
goods.
got that. I got that. So your movement was not as constricted as before. In other
Yeah, not
words,
as yeah. We were
once you
not as
produced, kumbaga, you
because
created a bundle pack. You had a bundle pack to make things to make the mobility smoother for you guys.
yes. So our riders would have an alcohol in their with them, showing that hey, this is for customer alcohol. Okay,
And
sige,
we
move.
added also alcohol
And
and
yeah,
everything.
and everything.
And
So
everything.
it's like a free alcohol to all orders kind of thing.
Wow. But what I'm trying to I hope you don't mind me asking this one. In the pandemic, technically you didn't have to go leave the house, right? So if you didn't have to leave the house, why would they be ordering makeup while they can't leave the house in the midst of the pandemic? I mean, that's
No,
just kumbaga what you
yeah,
would think, right?
yes. I think the consumers also did not know what was
How
their life was
long?
going to be. They didn't know. They said, oh, maybe they thought like, oh, after a month, I'm going to start going out
Yeah.
again. I need this
Yeah.
makeup because
Yeah.
our makeup sales were amazing the first few months. We're
Really?
amazing online. We lost retail, but online we saw sales that are, and we're pretty much a makeup business at that time. We're just makeup, but our sales were astronomical, and and but I think it's really the consumer had not also known what was going to happen to us. We were to this day we would be in some form of lockdown,
Wow.
and they had not realized that.
Wow. Okay. So let's go back to the business. After that
Nobody
one,
did. Go.
yeah. No, but after it was like, I mean, just like you guys, we had to pivot several times to kind of figure out where to go with the business. But sa inyo naman, the idea was that your business grew three times. What did you after identify? I mean, the first pain point that you identified is that we've got to bundle our packs to make it essential, right? You pivoted now to going fully online, right? So the second thing, you've been online for the longest time, since 2007. But what made being online now different than in the past? What did you think you did different? Was it because of you, or was it because of market dynamics? What was happening during the time that you guys grew three times? What was the sort of intervention that happened that really grew the business during this pandemic?
I'll let Teresa share, but about not the other. But one is the consumer behavior that they had no choice, and they were now getting comfortable with buying online. So the consumer behavior, our store was ready, and we knew how to service online and give a good experience through our website, more so even through our website. And so when consumers saw that, they purchased, and we grew there. Another part is that when makeup was really affected, we pivoted more than the hand sanitizers and the essentials. We went on a super R&D binge to add about 20 more products. We did this in what 3 months,
Yeah,
Teresa?
my that was my plan. I had a plan until 2025. That was my orange plan until like 5 years. It was compressed in 1 year. I was like, we were gonna really release skincare items and everything until 2025, and everything got compressed in one.
Skincare, hair, and body.
Yeah,
Hair and body was supposed to be like,
Wow.
but we went on an initiative that we need those things now because makeup is really troubled globally, economically. It's
yeah,
you can ask any group. But when we saw skincare, it was least affected. Actually, even clean beauty in our category of makeup of skincare, it actually even grew in the United States. It's something that had positive growth during the pandemic. And so that's where we really pushed on an R&D, and that cost and to this day that those products are now a majority
oh
of
yeah.
our revenues. It's not before we were 100% makeup. Now makeup is less than 50, less than 40%
Wow.
of our revenue.
Okay, so tell me a bit more about the R&D process that led to the creation of this one. Like you said, you accelerated the development, and I mean, you realize all of a sudden that what could have taken years to be done can actually be done in a few months. Because you had, of course, COVID as a great motivator and accelerator of doing the business. How's it like, Teresa, to kind of compress the time and then launch that and figure out that again you guys are 60% of your business here right now. Tell me a bit more about that journey of yours.
Yeah, so when I was mandated to when I was mandated to create to fast track on the R&D and the accelerate everything, it was endless nights, and but I'm already an R&D from the beginning, and really I've had these formulas for years. And it was just a matter of time for me to just release them one by one, actually. But towards the I only had to fix the packaging. Most formulas already are stabilized. I already had everything because I really love to R&D anyway. Even when I was doing something else, I'm very R&D at heart. So I've been making like toners, moisturizers over the years, and it was just a matter of time wherein we released them. So it was more on the packaging and stuff that needed to be fixed. But
The formula.
the formulas already have been there years
I see.
prior. Really.
But how
So
about
it was
working with the
was
tollers and everything else? Was it easy? I mean, that's my guess. Like you work with tollers to produce the product. Was it quite a challenge because everything was like remotely done? I mean, produce the product, create the samples. How did that go about when you were doing the new
Actually,
products coming out?
I asked you that. How did you guys? I know. Yeah,
Yeah,
one
you
is the tollers were outside of Metro Manila or Greater Metro Manila. So it was they were not as strict in their area, so they were not challenged with as much with the whole this is community lockdowns. But other than that, us getting out of the border, I ask you, how did we, how did we do? How did
and
we?
magically reappeared. We find ways. Thank you, SM.
Thank you, SM. Okay. Eh, enough said. Thank you, SM. Now, now I okay. Having said that, now like
What?
a couple of weeks ago, I also interviewed. I don't know if you know them. Ralph Laco of Noah Cosmetics. They're actually topping right now in Lazada. They created like a men's skincare brand. It's like a total
Wow.
branding that they've done online. They're doing a good job at it, and I realized that many of the brands like yours really went online to create these new alternative. I mean, new products to complement what they currently had. So how did you kind of grow the business, Teresa and Diego, for the new skincare products that you were bringing in? Was there a secret sauce, a unique selling proposition, or were you just parang was it being tapped? Was it just on top of the lang what they were already purchasing for makeup? How did you guys build up this new skincare business on top of your
We
makeup business?
Yeah, RJ, we still stuck to our philosophy and our branding. It was just as Teresa said, this was going to be an expansion. We so there was it was not much of a
It's not much of a stretch,
stretch
really.
really for us.
Yeah,
It was
because we were already into clean, vegan, cruelty-free. It was easier for us to maintain the same ethos and to just
Okay.
bring it towards another avenue. So that's kind of how we are going to be in terms of products and with Ellana, because it's really what we stand for, being vegan, so plant-based plus synthetics, plant-based plus synthetics, refillable. So as instead of going for plastic, we go more for glass containers, less plastic use. So as much as possible towards that direction. Actually, it's our direction.
Yeah, yeah.
Cruel or so it's not much of a stretch really too much to
so
merge
we
into
follow we've followed
skincare.
those philosophies and we pass it on to any other new products that we've gotten into.
Great. So sort of
Yeah.
like this is the brand equity of the overall brand equity of Elana. And that sort of idea just halos that overall brand equity halos to the new product lines which you also develop at the same time. So the customers pick it up. Now, having said that, I mean, really great story that you guys are telling about Elana. So I want to step back a bit more and go back a bit more to the origins of Elana, if you guys don't mind. No, you tell me about vegan, cruelty-free products. No, and why I think it resonates with people is because basically if your market's mostly millennials or zillennials, they just don't buy products nowadays. They want to buy products which you know which can change the world or are meaningful and relevant, and that's exactly how Elana came about. Tell us a bit more about the secret origin. How did this come about? How did you develop these products in the first place? What pain points were you trying to address? I'm guessing it wasn't Diego who thought of it originally, but rather you, Teresa. And you guys weren't married yet at this time, right? You guys, I guess, were dating at this time. Tell,
No,
tell me a
not
bit.
Not
even.
even not even dating.
Talaga? Tell how did it start off?
Many years before. So Teresa, your story.
Yeah, started in 2007 when a friend had trouble finding suitable skin products for her sensitive skin, and we realized many others share the same problem. So actually, that was the beginnings of Elana. It was an answer mostly for mineral makeup made for sensitive skin and for Southeast Asian skin tone, that unique Southeast Asian skin tone. That's where we started with the foundations and yeah,
What
to
what
date that
what are sorry forgive our ignorance as men listening to you right now. Then, um, is it why minerals? I don't understand why is minerals better for your skin versus other products for your skin. Can you help me understand better?
so mineral makeup is the ethos of mineral makeup is more about minimalist approach to formulations. Less is more when it comes to less is more when it comes to makeup. And these mineral makeup is actually higher in percentages in zinc oxide, which is a mineral, titanium dioxide, which is a mineral, kaolin, which is a mineral. So it's based mostly on mineral ingredients, which is better for your skin. That over time actually really does well and even better for your skin. So it's makeup that really cares for your skin and makes your skin even better over time. That's really how it is different from traditional cosmetics, wherein not a lot of people are too keen on using like a lot of chemicals, a lot of ingredients, a lot of so the approach is really different when it comes to mineral makeup. And plus, it does have a significant amount of sunscreen that helps protect the skin from aging. So that's really where we started that core product called the foundation.
Okay,
Being
Teresa, I'm really amazed. What is your background? I was reading online. Are you a makeup artist or are you an R&D person? What was your background to be able to formulate these type of things?
I am both. My background. I've been in the cosmetic industry since 2003, and I was a single mom, and I started with a business in 2007 with Ellana particularly because before that I had several other brands that I worked with, which did not really result into something fruitful, but it was Ellana that really stuck into it really grew exponentially and to a point wherein actually it was before when I met you in 2011. I had 8 stores
Wow.
in the metro, but I had to close it down. I was in a point wherein a crossroads wherein do I shut down? Do I just push through? Diego, what do I do? So here comes my
I was
knight in shining armor.
what is I was your I don't know if I was I was a boyfriend at that time, not even a fiance. But
Okay,
she
boyfriend ka
would
pa.
boyfriend.
2011, pasok ka, boyfriend ka, pumasok ka. 2011,
Oh,
8 stores siya. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And she would go to me for advice, asking about business advice here there. And she had a scale up problem. Actually, she
Mm.
made some decisions that didn't were not productive towards scaling, and it affected the business, and she would have to revive it at that point, or
Okay.
or or
Jacob, I
give
want
up.
to ask you, what was your particular background that made you somebody that she could talk to about this one? If you don't mind me asking, what was your back? I'm sure you're not a makeup artist.
No, my background. I just you know I can't explain, but
White.
since I've been an entrepreneur for a very long
What's your
time, from
background?
a time I was a child
Huh.
to selling things in high school to college and things. So I always wanted to be a businessman.
Okay,
Not
got you.
surprised because both my parents are entrepreneurs. Not surprised because their parents are entrepreneurs. Not surprised because my great grandparents are entrepreneurs. So it's just a line of entrepreneurs. So
Yeah.
I think that was it. I had a tendency to just go there, and my world was. And so she would come to me and ask me about that.
Okay. And then how did you identify what were the, if you don't mind me, in retrospect, what were the scale up problems that the decisions might not have been ideal for scale up? You were saying that there were decisions made that, now you can share like, oh no, in retrospect, I shouldn't have made that decision. Teresa, what
Okay.
you want to share? Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to share. So I had 400 SKUs when
Wow.
he
Wow.
I was
Okay.
an because I'm an R&D ever since. So I'm also a makeup artist. I mean, over time, I studied in different schools all over the world. But aside from that, I'm also an R&D really at heart. So I know the technical and the application side when it comes to cosmetics and makeup, and I'm very very exposed to that world. I've been sent by suppliers all over the world to train as well. So I was on a creation binge, and
Mm.
that started Uh,
Not optimal utilization of the funds of our resources,
I got
and
I get
so
it. So
that
parang
was
all
it. Yeah,
mm. Please go ahead. Please go ahead. You were
go
saying, uh-uh.
go on. That was it, RJ.
No,
That's
so
all.
parang the idea was that she had to scale back in terms of because they were carrying too many brands, too many SKUs. Is that right? That's really where the problem was coming from.
Yeah.
So the first
Yes.
thing is she had to scale back on that one. But what else did you have to do to kind of uh,
So another
reboot the
thing
business?
being,
How did you reboot the business? Yeah.
well, actually, Teresa was going to give up. She was going to shut
yeah.
down the business. She was said that, I want to shut it down. I want to give up. I had did my research at that time, started looking at it, and I said, you know what, you have something here. You have something amazing. You you should do it, but we can fix this. Let me. I want to be more involved. And at the time I was working for my father, and he was interestingly, it's in a synergy, is that my father had made a mandate to me and my brothers that we wanted to diversify and invest in other businesses and own something else, diversify. And so we had been looking at numerous businesses. Actually, some ideas, Teresa was even helping us out in some other eye drop products that we were looking
Oh,
at,
that's easy.
and stuff like that. Teresa was helping us in the R&D there. But when I was reviewing her business, I said, Dad, everything on all these plans that are laid out and offered to us, none of them I find more potential, and it's in with her business. And that's when my dad loved it. Being a family, said it's. She was also at that point already. She became my fiance. My dad loved the idea and said,
Wow,
let's
galing
keep
na.
it with family.
What a great way to seal the deal, huh?
Yeah. And he was sold. My dad was sold. Sabi niya, this she has something brilliant, something there. She just really needs help and guidance through this, and of course funds. And so we supported it. But what followed after that was a lot of demolishing,
Ooh,
a
wow.
lot of demolishing and destruction, and a lot of conflict between us. I'm
Yeah.
fortunate that we still got married.
400
I know the
SKUs
feeling.
easy to kill.
I know,
I
I
killed
know.
I killed 400. It was like 440 SKUs. I killed 400. I brought it down to 40 products, or less than pang mga 30 something. So I killed a lot of products and kept it down to 40, and resourced properly and honed the brand around it. Another destruction I did was I gave up the manufacturing facility. So she had, of course, in her design was
Oh, wow.
close to her heart, is she made a manufacturing facility because of her background, and 400 SKUs. So she had put the resources towards that, and I saw the brand, and we put more on the branding and on the concentrated products that represented the brand most. And so it was a lot of demolishing. We demolished the manufacturing facility. We moved funds and 400 products. So yeah, that was what do you how was that process, babe? What do you think about it looking back?
Where's my knife?
You still want to kill me to this day.
Well, I have a question. So eventually, I mean, I love this whole process because it's like relearning, demolishing, relearning. I mean, this is exactly what Elana's been, diba? I mean, even during this crisis, exactly the same thing that you've been going through. Now, I'm just curious, marketing guy, you've identified, I guess, three clear things: no, clean, vegan, and cruelty-free skincare. Coming from the first one is mineral cosmetics. Apparently, feeling ko that was the first thing that you did because it was easier on the skin. But how did you come up with that clean, cruelty-free, and vegan cosmetics were the most appealing to the consumers whom you wanted to target? Is it important to them that
You know,
their makeup is like that?
it's funny is that the only thing that we were tap in the beginning was the part where we were safe for sensitive skin, and the part for Asian skin tone, matching the Asian look and the stuff. That's really what we focused. All these other things was actually our own personal philosophies. We didn't care if the consumers cared about it. We didn't
At
really care
first.
at first.
At
At
first.
just fortunately that our passion and our philosophy, our values does connect with a large. That was the just by goddamn luck. And but or yeah, or maybe we're just visionaries in our values. I don't know. But yeah, it was just really personal, and we didn't care if the consumers did not connect to it. We would do it because this is what we feel that companies should be. And there are many other details there that our company is that you our consumers do not know about, but it's because that's how we want to live. That we don't normally share, but there's a lot more details. You should come visit us, RJ, and you'll discover these other nuances of how we choose to live
Yeah.
When the
our.
pandemic is over.
Oh no,
Yeah.
not over
No, but
not.
Vanessa and I would love to come over and check things out, especially F off. I think that will start off things for us here right now. But
I'll send it to you.
yeah, F F off. It sounds like a very interesting product. But having said this one, so you brought Diego in, and Teresa, you guys are working together now. Um, my question is, husband wife. I hope you don't mind, and I don't usually talk about this one, but this is close to my heart because obviously, I work with my wife Vanessa on the business, and it's not easy to work with your spouse, of course, because if she's both your partner in life and in business. How's it like for you guys? Now, initially you were dating, fiance, got married, and it was Diego pa coming into the business, diba? So I mean, it's a different dynamic. Tell me a bit more. How's it like to work with your spouse? And I know it's not the perfect formula, but what are the uh, best practices and what you should avoid? If you guys don't mind sharing with me, and my wife is listening from the other side.
I'll I think number one is you have to be really super in love. I am super in love. So whatever it takes, I think that's number one. That's number one. And I know she is.
Okay.
And super confident, I guess.
Uh-huh. Sure. Sige.
Oh,
Sabi mo
sige,
nga.
now I have, okay.
Yeah.
That is the safe answer. Very good answer, Diego, here so far. Love, they said you have to be super in love with your wife to work with her, and super confident now. Oh, so my wife is saying you're not super in love with me, no. Anyway, okay. Anyway, so going back, so
Love my
so
necessary. I agree with
yeah.
it.
Yeah,
How
so
do you guys handle? I mean, because obviously, yeah. Go ahead,
number
Teresa. Yeah.
one is
And
boundaries.
I will tell you, it does not exist.
Boundaries.
Does not exist. Does
Boundaries.
not exist.
Boundaries.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that just
oh.
the dynamic just shows you how complicated it is. But
Yeah, but
again,
Yes, it
I go
is.
back to
Yes,
respect
it is.
your boundaries.
does not exist.
Okay, it's nice to see that we share the same dynamic in our relationship also as well in the house with my spouse
Yeah.
doing business.
Yeah, because when you don't declare your boundaries on which you preside over or help with, it's hard to uh it's hard to follow
Yeah.
which one. I'm trying to be very cautious here, Jericho.
I don't. Whatever you.
No, because yeah, we respect
Okay.
each
Go
other.
on. I respect you, but there's no boundaries. Okay. I welcome her to my world anytime, any comment, anything. She's welcome to bring it up, and I
Okay.
accept it. I accept it.
Good for you.
I think I know, but we'll get there.
Oh, but how about is there a point where uh, what's the I find that the challenging thing is how to separate professional from personal. Where does that sort of it's hard because president and CEO kayo, diba? So how does that kind of work? And I'm not saying that you have the formula because me and my wife we don't have the exact formula either as well. But it for me I find it's a joy working with my wife in the end, diba? I mean, um, she's smirking here right now, but it's true. I find that in the end that's I get to spend a lot of quality time with her, and we just figured out by doing work that, she's very good at operations and finance. I'm very good at business dev and marketing strategy. But sometimes, the difficulty comes in. I don't know. I don't know if you can relate to this one. Sometimes when you're a spouse, sometimes um, you don't talk to each other like business partners do, right? Sometimes it kind of crosses over, right? And that's when things get a bit challenging. How about for you guys? How's it like for you guys, Naman?
Exactly what you said. Ganun na rin talaga. It really my perspective is, no, we talk to each other professionally how you would talk to other people in the company. No, we don't. We don't. I mean, but for me, I think that is a strength where you can be more open about things, say things sometimes a little too open, but I believe in conflict. I believe conflict is good. Conflict, growth, development, progress. Rather, because if you don't, that's just a lot of energy moving. You just directed properly could go, should be, if done right, will go the right. Will give you a good slingshot towards the right direction. And it is like we have our ups and downs, argument. Things don't come together, and then but somehow
At
at the
the
end
end
of
of
the
the
day,
day, no
yeah,
business in the bedroom.
yeah. Well, okay, that too. That's another rule also. No business in the bedroom, except we're in the bedroom now. But it's not
Okay,
business.
so
This is
no.
time with friends.
Okay.
But yeah, but that's true. That's we. But in end of the day, we come along. We look for a solution, how to work together and how to move forward. We know we're in this for life.
Business ends at the door
And then
until
yeah,
the
and the
door.
door of the bedroom. That's one rule we have. It's that end of day, we don't
Yeah.
bring business to the bedroom.
Okay, don't bring
And
business
the
to the
bedroom,
bedroom.
since there's business all over.
At
Yeah,
least
yeah.
don't bring business into the bedroom.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take that into consideration. We're still learning that portion, I guess. No? Okay. Mahirap na when you sleep with your partner, no? So when you sleep with your business partner. But wala. I love my business partner very, very much because she's listening to the conversation here right now. But okay. Now, so having said that, this is nice because it's not often that I get a husband-wife team because I guess you guys can also commiserate and share. And I hope I get more people like us because I didn't realize that it's so common pala what I feel and what you guys feel. It's almost the same thing about how we do business together with our spouses. But in the end, we still it's great working with your spouse. I personally, that's my belief. Now, having
Yeah.
said that, looking forward, no, if you don't mind me asking, you're seeing the whole ecosystem for number one, the cosmetic, the skincare industry, the logistics industry, and all these different things. What do you see as the emerging opportunities where enterprising people, businessmen, or entrepreneurs can still come into the industry? Because they're always thinking, there's no space for me. I'm too small a player, or I don't have the skills or the resources. But are you seeing pockets of areas where there are opportunities that arise?
Well, I just have to say that's all about perspective. And everywhere
Mhm.
you go, it's gonna be crowded. Everywhere, it's gonna be crowded. You're gonna look at it and see. And it's, I mean, coming into the cosmetics industry back in when we started, it was very crowded, even so more so now. And we're still surviving even through this because of the brand that we've created and what we stand for. If that is what you continuously um, anchor on and belong in, then what you're gonna be. It's gonna be your piece of the pie, and yeah, because everywhere you're gonna look, it's always gonna be crowded. But if you look and fine tune and see where you can come in and corner that specialty, then it's how you're gonna grow because you've seen that there's room to grow there. So yeah, for enterprising
I,
people.
lo-
Yeah, there's
I
really
love
not
that.
not.
I love that.
I totally agree with Teresa. There really is, if you look deep into it and you do know your stuff, there are people in the most commodity based businesses who are able to find their niche I mean, products or commodities, but they're able to find their niche and become tycoons in that business. They know their stuff. They know how to get innovative in the way.
Be strong in
Yeah, be strong with it, and it's yeah. So
perspective.
it's perspective. It's really knowing your industry.
A lot of research on that specific area would really help, and like doing mostly answering if you have a common problem that you need an answer for, then it's
That's
easier,
one.
yeah, to
But I would like to say, there's not like a seismic shift and change. Now has all the opportunities in the world.
oh yeah,
The
wow.
world has changed. The big companies are now still tied to where their assets and the resources are tied to not anymore as is useful in this new world. And this is where new players can come along. New behaviors are there, so new service and products. This is the time. I mean, this is a time to be entrepreneurial more so, and do it for the consumers because they're hungry for this something new.
Got that. Okay, I mean, I wish we had more time. This has been such a fantastic and enlightening discussion for me. And it's a first for me to go to a husband-wife team. So for me, it means a lot that we've done this discussion here right now. But I think the last question I want to pose to you guys, and it might be a bit of a challenge to use this one. Okay, I often ask some guests here, let's say, for example, if you weren't in the industry that you are in right now, not doing makeup or skincare, um, and you still have the time and the resources because you're seeing so many opportunities right now, what industry would you be playing in right now? Aside from makeup, you're seeing something, if I had the time, the effort, the energy, the resources, I would be doing this one right now. Teresa, ikaw, what would you be doing right now if it wasn't makeup?
Actually, we're
What would I be doing right now? Okay, what would I be doing right now? I'd be doing furniture probably. That's my I'm very manual and I have to like, make my own furniture. So that's what
Oh,
I
wow.
would be doing right now in servicing because there's a surgeons in home products and furniture and stuff. So
home improvement, right?
nagpupukpok
People are
talaga
doing
ako.
spending more time at home. So yeah, that would be something she's
Wow.
more passionate about.
Yeah, Diego,
Interesting.
you.
Interesting.
I think we're doing it already. We've pivoted Elana's amazing infrastructure in e-commerce are what brought us to all the success. This whole end-to-end e-commerce capability that we have
Hello, just double checking. I kind of lost Diego over there, but Diego is talking about what they pivoted Alana into doing right now.
There,
yeah.
there.
Are
There,
we
it's coming
back? Are we
back there.
back?
There you go.
Hello.
Yeah, you're back. You talk about it. Can you
Yeah.
tell me again what you guys are doing right now? You said you're actually using you're actually pursuing that other opportunity by using the e-commerce system you set up for Ellana for other things.
Yes. We're providing it to other companies only their
Okay, I'm seeing
yeah.
Diego a bit. Yeah, I lost you a bit over there, but I did read a more on what you guys are doing here right now. I understand that what you're doing right now is another major move that you guys are doing is that you're doing a full end-to-end e-commerce enabling service provider. You're doing that for other companies here as well, and you just recently closed. Congratulations! You just recently closed the contract for San Miguel Foods to operate their hub where you handle products like Magnolia chicken and ice cream for their customers in Metro Manila. So really great job for you guys, Diego. Congratulations from makeup to Magnolia chicken to furniture. Guys, you're truly an enterprising couple. Thanks so much for inspiring many of the husband wife couples here, right? Or soon to get married or boyfriend girlfriend doing things together. I know it's not an easy job to work with your spouse, but kudos to both of you. Um, I pray that the business brings you guys closer together in different ways. That's your kumbaga, that's your third baby. Kami ni Vanessa, we've got 3 kids. and we have our babies as well, just like you guys, serial entrepreneurs. So again, thank you so much, Theresa and Diego Buenaflor, for coming to the show and the podcast. We really appreciate. Hope a lot of people learn from this one. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you again at the next podcast this coming Thursday.
Thank
Okay, thanks, guys. See you again. See you soon.
you, RJ.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Wait. Okay.
The
Okay.
screenshot.